I'm Dave Katzler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here to tell you about something that came in the mail while I was working on this week's video on DXing. What came in the mail is an interesting little kit, comes all the way from India. It's a 40 meter single sideband QRP transceiver. And it doesn't quite come complete. There's no case, there's several things that have to be supplied, but the basic circuit boards come. Well, it came today. I want to do an unboxing video and maybe talk a little bit about what the components are and how we're going to put them together, because the way it comes, the circuit board is assembled and tested. Actually, there's 3, I think. And then there's some interconnections that have to be soldered and so on. So we'll do that. Now, what's interesting about this is that I've never been very enthusiastic about single sideband QRP, because as you know, the duty cycle of sideband is about 20% of full power. So if it's 10 watts, that means only about 2 watts really total of single sideband. Whereas if it's a CW rig, 10 watts is 10 watts. It will get through better than single sideband will. So we're going to see. This is going to be an experiment. So I'm going to unbox this, we'll record it, and then I'll get back to putting my video together on DX. All right, the box comes from India, from this guy right here. And he's the guy who's behind the BITX series of transceivers. The website is hfsigs.com, okay? You can take a look there. This is basically the only thing he has for sale. And what's cool about it is the stuff that's in there, the circuit boards and stuff, are actually assembled by a local company made up of women. And this is a way for them to earn some livelihood as women to supplement their household income. So it was sent to me here in my P.O. box, and it actually went out some weeks ago, and it's only, are you ready for this, $59 US, which includes postage and packaging, okay? $59 for a QRP rig. That is like a tenth of what a comparable rig would cost you on the normal marketplace. Again, this is a change in paradigm. It has been for a while that Americans made gear and sold it in America, and then people were importing Japanese gear. The Yaesu, Kenwood, ICOM built a marketing establishment in the United States, imported their radios, and then sold them. And it's been like that for quite a while. What we're seeing now is in China and now India, they're skipping the American middleman. And that's, as it turns out, where most of the cost goes. I've gotten some very inexpensive things directly from China, and this now comes from India at 3,600 rupees, which I guess is $59 US. So we see on the package here the little stamp from India Post, pointing out that how much it costs, the weight. Note the 1701. This is the typical way of putting dates down around the earth. It's we Americans who are oddballs on this. It's day, month, year. Day, month, year. And that makes sense. You're going from the smallest to the biggest. So that means the January 1st, the 17th of 2017, it was sent. Today is the 7th of February. So it took a little while to get here. Okay, here is the Air India tracking number right here. And interestingly, although that's an India tracking number, if you put that in the USPS site, it won't come up with anything. But when I was wondering where this was, I went down to the post office with this number from the email, and they were able to find it. It was stuck in customs, so it has become unstuck and gone through. The thing is very, very thoroughly packaged here. So let's open it up. Well, inside here is a plastic box that they use for shipping. Okay, And I think that's pretty thoroughly wrapped here in this green wrapping paper that has some sort of a fiber in it, I guess to make it extra strong, and it did the job. So what we have here is a box made by Nakoda, okay, and Innova box made in India. Now, considering this is pretty thoroughly sealed, I wonder if I can smell India when I open this up. Let's find out. First, I got to open it up. Those are the hinges. Okay, we come over here on this side. I guess India smells like electronics. Okay, we'll open this paper up. This is the shipping tax invoice. It says this is for customs and stuff, okay? And then this is a list of all of the things that are in it. There's the BITX40 board, a Arduino board, and then a whole bunch of connectors, jacks, connectors, chassis mounting hardware, brass standoffs, push button, and an interesting electret mic for transmit, and an extra toroid and an extra capacitor. Now, as it turns out, the BITX used to come out just with the circuit board, which is this right here. This is the latest edition, okay? And you can see right down here, HF6, okay, version 3, 2016, and there's a number marked on here that's supposed to be unique. So it's A2607C. I think that's an A. All right. Now, the board has got all these lovely surface mount components. There's some toroids. There's the crystal filter right there, the 4 crystals. More toroids coming toward the back here. All right, a transmit relay, let's get this the other way around. Oh, I think that's the transmit relay right there. Okay, this right here is the heat sink for the final amplifier. Okay. And on the other side, it's just printed circuit board, okay? And it looks like it's two-sided because you can see traces there and you can see some traces over here too, okay? So that's the first board. Now, it used to be that this thing came with its own built-in VFO. And it's apparently quite well known for being unstable. So they came up with something new. And you can pull these gently apart. Okay, this is a display board, okay, 2-line display, and all the stuff that drive the display, okay. And then here is a Arduino board. A Arduino board takes an Arduino, or Arduino, I don't know how to say it, right here, and attaches to it some parts and pieces to make this a direct digital synthesizer. So here is the Soul crystal, and this is 25 megahertz, okay? And then this board uses this to chop that up into pieces, and you can pick any frequency that you want, and it will be synthesized in here, and it will go out of here from some contacts here onto the main board and provide a much more stable VFO. At the same time, on the display board, providing a display with the frequency on it, okay? Now, there are a bunch of other components. Let's see what they are. Oh, that's wonderful. It's broken off. Okay, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way here. We'll just cut this out of the way and very gently open this up. Okay. All right. This is the power socket and the connector for it. That's nice that they provide the connector. All right. This is a potentiometer. One of these is used for a volume control, and the other is used for frequency control. So here is the other. Maybe this is the one used for volume. Okay. Got three kind of, so we're going to have to solder wires to these, and then we're going to have to mount this somehow. Okay. These are all the little connectors. These plug into various places on the circuit board, and then the other ends are left open so that they will be soldered and put on. These are pretty small wires from a wire gauge point of view, so we'll have to be really careful with those not to do anything stupid. Now there are a couple of jacks here. One is for the microphone / speaker, and the other is for the microphone. There is a very tiny little toroid here. And the reason that this is here is if you want to go with the VFO that originally came with it and not use the synthesizer board, this is something that's very important for that. Now I'm looking, there's supposed to be another capacitor in here too. I don't see it. This is a little push button right there that can be used. And here is the electret mic element. So we're going to have to solder to those little pins right there some wires. That's going to take some entertaining doing, but that's the microphone they provide, little tiny thing. And this is the RF out. It's a BNC connector. I plan to actually use an SO239 on mine rather than the BNC. So this is what's in the unboxing. Now the actual instructions for putting it together are on the internet. I printed them out at the same time that we started. And it shows you in here exactly where the wires go, what's connected to what, and has some very thorough instructions for doing that. It says that the board comes already aligned. We'll see as we go through it. Lots of pictures, that's good. And so here's the alignment if you need it. And it should be very interesting. It's got a very thorough schematic and really, really, really tiny print. Okay. And then here's the circuit description and so on. So there's all kinds of things that we can look at as we put this thing together. So the only part I seem to find missing in here, we've got the little toroid, the miniature, and I do mean small toroid, some mounting hardware for the kit once we put it together, and the 0.1 microfarad capacitor does not appear to be here. However, that's an extremely common capacitor, and I'm sure I've got some located hanging around. It's possible it's still in the packing material. So there we have it, another fun kit. I can't wait and hope that this time everything will work just absolutely perfectly. There is a very active Yahoo group called BITX40, BITX20, not 40, but 20. And that's where all the discussion takes place about this particular kit. I've been reading it for the last week or so, and it's a very active group, and people seem set on helping each other. So if I run into any trouble, I'm certainly going to turn to that group to do it. So, Farhan, if you see this, thank you. And to all of you, 73.